I hear you loud and clear, so whistle. Make sure your ship is ready and report back to me. Thank you. Now TIC.
Hello and welcome back to another TSN Armada live broadcast. We're just getting set up with the next Atlantis campaign. I think this is Atlantis campaign part 4 now. I've labelled it part 3, but in actual fact it's part 4. Raiden is going to be the game master for this one. He's just getting set up with the crews. We've got 3 crews running, the Lone Howler, the Artemis and the Intrepid.
This is CIC to Lone Howler.
Microphone activated.
I think
Can you hear when I'm broadcasting to the ships? Can you hear that?
I heard it when I was on the ship, yes, Raiden.
I mean, in here. Can you hear me
yes.
calling the ships here? That's good. I wanted that.
I heard the Lone Howler.
Yeah.
User left your channel.
That will mean that we can hear the outgoing comms from the game master, and the incoming comms from all the ships as well. So we'll be able to get a really good idea of the back and forth talking between the ships while we're broadcasting. What I'm going to do just while we're getting set up is have some music on in the background there.
This is CIC to Lone Howler. Communication check. I hear you loud and clear. Radio crew, and come back to me. Your ship readiness. CIC confirmed loud and clear. Okay. Lone Howler is ready. Excellent, thank you. So just last minute check, Xavier. When I speak, I will be on the broadcast here.
Yeah, you are currently on the broadcast at the minute.
Awesome. Just what I needed. Sorry, I'm just setting up a additional screen here.
Say hi to everyone.
Hello, this is your friendly CIC, not trying to kill you all at all. No, I'm not. By the way, Lone Howler, you are continuously broadcasting, so please make sure that you push talk. Thank you. Intrepid secure, this is confirmed. Stand by for other ships. So far, we hold the jump gate in the server system that lead to Crescenda, Jordan, and Promethean command. The hegemony have destroyed the jump gate in servers 2 that led to the Atlantis system. We've taken control of the Crescenda command and Promethean command. When we moved to retake the Volantis, we discovered that the jump gate had between Promethean and Volantis had been sabotaged by the hegemony. In the last mission, the task force successfully traveled through Kronos to enemy-held Erebus system to obtain the necessary part and to put the jump gate back to the working order. In the meanwhile, while the 4th Flight Division was regrouping for the pushes, the rest of the Armada task force invaded the Volantis command and retaken that. We have now a firm hold of the Volantis system. With that achievement, the hegemony has been put onto retreat. They no longer have a full connection to their home territories. That means that their enemy is cut from the reinforcements, and they may try to break through at any moment. Elements of the Armada task force are guarding the Volantis Waypoint 52 gate, and preparing for next push. For the moment, the 4th Flight Division has been tasked to perform a reconnaissance mission into the Waypoint 52 sector. You will be deployed from Volantis Command in Sector 6, travel eastwards or trailing to Sector 7, use the gate to jump to Waypoint 52 and perform a reconnaissance there. CIC will be on full data link in there and will be advising as the mission develops. Intel recommends to enter the sector under radio silence to avoid immediate detection by the hegemony forces in the sector. Proceed with the caution. Hegemony forces may become increasingly desperate and may defend their positions at all costs. This is end of the briefing. After all ships confirm their readiness, the mission will commence.
To handle the whispered list? What the heck?
CIC to Lone Hauler, I think I haven't received your ship readiness.
CIC, Artemis is ready.
Thank you, Artemis. Interpret, I count you are ready as you reported before.
That is correct, we are ready.
Lone Hauler, please confirm ship readiness.
CIC, Lone Howler is having some weird things going on with its whisper list. We apologize.
Roger that. Do you need time to work it out?
I don't think so.
All right. Okay.
CIC would be the acting fleet commander.
CIC to all ships. The question who's the acting fleet commander is upon to you to decide.
Okay, I'm just going to check the sound levels on the stream with the music in the background. Alright, I think we've got the audio balance just about right in the background with the music. Time to enjoy the mission. They've just set off from Atlantis Command. They're heading to Waypoint 52, is that correct?
That's correct, aye.
And they've got a scout out that area. So if you're just joining us, they are just departing and heading to where they need to scout. Hopefully there's no surprises waiting there for them. The Atlantis system was the system that they were retaking yesterday in the missions, and that opening briefing updating the situation, saying that the Atlantis system is now secure and in the control of the TSN forces.
This is CIC to the fleet. In the next sector, there will be a resupply available to you near the gate on your energy. You are allowed to use best speed to reach the destination.
CIC, could you please repeat the final destination we are approaching?
Waypoint 52 system has 2 sectors. Your orders are to reconnaissance those 2 sectors.
Copy that. Thank you very much.
The entry point is the southern sector. The other sector to scan is north of the initial gate position.
Copy that. And we were told to be radio silent lest we agitate them, correct?
That's correct. For your reference, the radio silence means beam, warp, torpedoes, and shields to be operated below 10%.
Copy that. Copy that.
CIC to the fleet. Make a pass through the Delta fleet. They are ready to resupply you on the energy.
All vessels be advised, we are to proceed through the Delta fleet. They will resupply us on energy. When we approach waypoint 52, we all need to engage silent running, lest we agitate any enemy forces on the other side.
Acknowledge, Intrepid.
All vessels engage silent running mode. We are going to begin activating the jump gate.
CIC standby for sensor updates. CIC to the fleet. Sensor updates complete.
Okay, all vessels form up.
This is CIC to Full Flight Division. Our internal sensors detect large explosions you've encountered. Do you have any idea what was going on?
CIC, be advised, we are detecting some diminium ions. For the time being, we have raised our shields to help prevent any sort of further damage from the ions.
Roger that. Be advised, this kind of form of ionization is consistent with large nuclear detonations. We are analyzing the situation.
Copy that. Should our orders for the time being be to stay put, or are we to resume traveling towards Atlantis Gate?
You are clear to provide the reconnaissance, however, be at utmost careful. We do not know what is happening right now.
Understood.
This is CIC to Intrepid. We detect an enemy installation in Delta 1. Can you please check that?
I copy that, CIC. All vessels, we are to begin approaching F78. We have detected a enemy installation, and our current command is to investigate this installation.
CIC to Intrepid, do you have any idea what kind of installation that is?
As far as we can see right now, it is a sensor booth.
CIC understands. In that case, we recommend remaining in silent running for the moment to prevent the hegemony detection. It might actually not be advisable to approach this target.
All vessels, full stop.
Further analysis of the explosions incurred suggests that explosions were caused by the hidden mines. Be advised, Hegemony might have deployed cloaked mines in the sector.
All vessels, be advised, CIC has confirmed the presence of Hegemony cloaked mines in the vicinity of our vessels. Proceed with utmost caution.
This is CIC to Intrepid. We have a further suggestion. It might be advisable to drop several sensor buoys in your immediate location to try to reveal the cloaked mines by combined sensor sweep. We will be dropping several buoy drop rendezvous points for you to operate.
Copy that, CIC. Artemis, if you can deploy a sensor buoy on Rendezvous 3, that would be very much appreciated. Lone Howler, go ahead and deploy a sensor buoy on Rendezvous 2.
CIC, we're receiving some minor problems with our shuttle. The fighter pilot cannot operate it.
Chelsea to Lone Hauler, understood. Now let's see if the rest of the fleet can continue deploying the rendezvous points. Do you have the Odysseus stranded?
Acknowledge Intrepid, Artemis will deploy RV2.
This is CIC to the fleet. We are powering the sensor buoys now.
Very close on that one.
Indeed, I was worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily.
CIC to Intrepid, looks like we've uncovered a very heavy infestation of coked mines here in the sector. Good job on that. Proceed with your reconnaissance as needed. We believe we are showing all the mines in the sector for the moment.
Copy that, CIC.
We are also detecting a strange signal in one of the nebulas. Would you be able to check that one?
Copy that. All vessels, go ahead and form up Intrepid. Our destination is we have a signature scan that we have cited, or that CIC has cited, over in the Bravo 5 sector. We will proceed to investigate.
Acknowledge Intrepid. Science advises that Scaron signatures have been cloaking signatures at Bravo 5.
CIC, be advised, the signature scan location, we're up readings that there are
Intrepid, be
potential...
advised, we have picked up comms chatter that Torgoth are inbound.
We have word that Torgoths are inbound and potential Scaran attacks over in sector Bravo 5.
CIC to the fleet, understood. Looks like your silent running is no longer needed. We recommend a combat role in both sectors. Try to prioritize the reconnaissance, but engage with enemy where possible.
Copy that, CIC. Okay. All vessels resume nominal power. We will feed up to the signature scan.
Acknowledge Intrepid, ready for recon and force.
Do you know, Raiden, you give me another idea here for the sandbox. We've got cloaked mines. I'm just thinking through in my head how I could program them and add them in.
That's a good one.
With Game Master being able to drop a scan point, and then when players get close, it will spawn a type of minefield.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That would definitely work.
Well, scan point would be too obvious, right?
Well, I think the scan point would be the hint of what is there. So you enter a sector and you see lots of different scan points, and there could be, for the Game Master, there could be some red herring ones kind of thing. So scan points that have nothing there, but scan points that do. So you'd have to approach them carefully, and then say a minefield would spawn around it, and try and give the Game Master the option of having like a minefield in a line or in an arc.
Well, if we did something like that, we could almost have like some kind of like minesweeper ship.
I wonder if I could use something similar to be able to get ships to deploy minefields instead of just a single mine. So then we could have a mine layer ship as well.
A proper mine layer ship, yeah.
Yeah. Especially with the new code of get object property.
Yeah.
That would give me the potential to get the information from the generic mesh that's being deployed and use that to create a variable.
Be advised, we have located a Scaran base over in this sector. Awaiting further instructions.
CIC to Intrepid. Looking at the data here, the base might be connected with the ability of the cloaked mines in the sector. Given the big concentration of them, I advise a search party, if you can, take over the base and uncover the reason and the means how they are cloaking the mines here.
Copy that.
Acknowledge CIC, we will attempt the boarding.
Well, so this is one good thing about doing missions all the time. You get all sorts of inspiration for what could be coded. Maybe
that is part of our
building
live
this.
later.
Yeah. So we did have an idea
Intrepid.
for that, but
Artemis, we are taking RV5.
Yeah,
Depending on how long it takes, we can do both.
we could adapt it. Or any idea that I start writing for that, I don't think we'll get
Copy that.
finished.
CIC to the fleet, it will be advisable to start with the marine boarding actions before sending the engineers.
Artemis, go ahead and pull that engineering team. Artemis, stand by to deploy engineering teams on RV5. Intrepid and the Lone Howler will proceed to rendezvous 7 and 8 and deploy our Marines first.
I
Howler,
don't
you are
think so,
clear
Grant.
to proceed to RV7.
By the way, Xavier, when I was playtesting the extra buttons you created for this mission, I'm pretty sure one of these is setting lower sensor range for some reason. From what I've seen in the mission right now.
I thought that was deliberate on your part. It's done a good
no,
effect.
it wasn't. Nope.
No, it won't be setting a lower sensor range if one of the buttons damaged all their systems, didn't it?
Nope, I'm pretty sure there was an effect of lowering sensor range for some reason.
Well, if I do
Somewhere.
know that if you damage their ship
Artemis,
systems, it will
engage
reduce what they can see until they've got it repaired.
Copy that, thank you.
Yeah, but I had it in
Artemis, can
GM
you go ahead
console
and
to
engage,
be
Tango
forced to restore the
Here.
sensors.
Oh, right, okay. I'll have to look into that one.
CIC to the fleet, given the recent interest of the enemies to lure you away from the base, we recommend really to defeat the base and take it over.
My English is horrible today.
It's sounding fine to me.
I feel like I'm blabbering.
No, you're right. And honestly, English isn't your native language, so I think that's a pretty dang good excuse.
Copy. Lone Howler, can you proceed to RV6? Artemis, as you repair those systems, go ahead and get RV5 taken care of with engineers. Intrepid will proceed to engage Tango.
Acknowledge Intrepid, we're taking RV5.
CIC to the fleet, you have successfully captured the base, however engineers need to be boarded. Let's quickly scan the base and understand what it's doing to the mines. CIC, the Intrepid.
Come in, we read you.
The first engineering team report said they have located some unusual cloaking generator, remote cloaking generator device there. They need a second engineering team assistance. They believe they may be able to overload the system. That's the cause mines to detonate. This would be very beneficial for us for the further incursion into the sector.
Copy that. Be advised, we currently have our engineering teams way to rendezvous 6.
I'm really afraid to throw more fleets at them.
Yeah, they are closing. I'd let them handle those fleets before bringing in more. Because then you'll be able to gauge how they handle those fleets. If they wipe them out quickly, then you can bring on the reinforcements from next sector.
Yeah.
Intrepid, this is Artemis. We are showing 2 fleets inbound. Please advise.
Artemis, Lone Howler, proceed to engage the 2 fleets in Bravo 4 and Bravo 3. Intrepid will proceed to the Alpha 4 fleet.
Acknowledged.
CIC to the fleet. Engineering teams on board the Oscar 39 station have successfully overloaded the system and detonated the mines in the area.
Acknowledged. Lone Howler, be advised, we are engaging with beams. Lone Howler, be advised, nuke is launched.
CIC to Intrepid. Intrepid to CIC, since you've docked with Oscar 39, your marine and engineering teams to percent have replenished back to your ship. They've boarded via normal means.
Copy that, CIC.
Rest of the fleet can replenish the same way.
Lone Howler, Artemis, be advised, we are coming to assist.
Looking at it, I might be able to tweak the AI stacks as well so that enemy ships won't just sit there and follow one ship while we're taunting them. They'll actually go and divert and attack the nearest ship to them, if there's one nearer.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And just
Lone
tweak
Howler,
that.
Artemis, please proceed to the Scarn base and restock and refuel.
So
You will also be able to pick up your teams that you sent out to aid in capturing the base.
so that trick of having one ship kite all the enemies and them just not attacking anything else apart from that one ship would be changed by adding a little bit of extra AI in there. A little bit like, do you know the Caltrons in the sandbox that we have?
Mm-hmm.
They-
This is Intrepid. We will be holding present position and awaiting the Lone Howler and Artemis to finish restock. What are your orders following their rendezvous with us?
We would advise proceeding to the next sector, which is cowards or northwards from here, to at least proceed with the reconnaissance.
Copy that.
Yeah, so something like the Caltrons are
Artemis,
much more
Lone Howler,
challenging.
when you are complete with restock and refuel and you have your teams back aboard, proceed to form up, we will be proceeding to the Atlantis gate and continuing reconnaissance over in that sector.
So yeah, the Caltrons are much more challenging because they switch targets so often, and you can't taunt them and guide them and lead them like we do. So it add an interesting extra challenge, I think. Sorry, say that again, Vash.
Would that be the part of the default AI, or is that something the GM would be able to set?
I think I might. It could be like instead of being the default AI, it could be like an advanced AI. So there could be the default stack which we have at the moment, and then because something that I added to the sandbox recently was the ability for the game master to set the AI that the ships are spawned with, instead of having to go back and reset it. Because at the moment, game masters have to go back and they spawn the ships with the AI that they come with, and then they have to reset that AI to something else. But with the new system that I've written recently, coming out in
all vessels, let's proceed to the transition.
Coming out in one of the next updates for the TSN sandbox, the game master can select whether it's going to be the default AI stack or if they're going to override it. So they could override it and have advanced AI.
CSC, it appears as though we have successfully detonated the station upon our departure.
So smarter enemy fleets.
CIC to Intrepid, it might be the other way around. It could have been a remote detonation by the Scarians. You were lucky to escape the explosion there.
Copy that.
Then by for sensor updates.
Artemis, can you go ahead and investigate T93? Lone Howl, proceed to the fleet containing U-86 and V-73.
Intrepid Artemis showing Scar and Defier, Tango 9-3.
CIC to the fleet. I recommend the reconnaissance run through the nebulas in the sector to check for any hidden enemies there, assess the fleet composition in the sector, engage where possible,
Copy
report,
that, CSC.
and report back on your findings. Thank you.
Acknowledge CIC.
So we have very little time left in the mission, so for the moment I'm slightly adjusting the plan for this sector.
Howler, be advised there's a cloak ship in your vicinity.
Intrepid, this is CIC. The command feels that with the clearance of the previous sector, TSN grant, the resupply ship can be deployed. Do you assess the situation to be safe enough?
At present, if the grant maintains along the Echo line, I believe it would be presently safe for them to launch.
Roger that. Stand by for deployment. We are sending it in.
Copy that. Well, Artemis, pending the probe findings, go ahead and engage the fleets over near Atlantis Command. If the probe returns anything, go ahead and investigate.
Intrepid, Artemis, acknowledged.
Have the fleets been operating TSN Gran in previous missions?
Lone Howler, we have the Durant.
I'm not sure.
Over in Echo 3, if you can proceed to them to restock and repair.
I'll keep an eye on the comms menu so we can see how the restock and resupply
Artemis, be advised we're on our way to assist you in that fleet.
goes with it. But yeah, you've got to know your way around the comms menus for this one, I think. They were changed a few months back ago, I think, where instead of it just being something that popped up below, you had to actually go into the menu system itself.
Yeah.
Artemis, be advised we'll be coming in with heavy ordnance.
We've just got the Artemis on screen right now,
Acknowledge
taking out some
Artemis is
drones and
setting up for a
attacking.
mine run.
Copy, copy. We'll be launching EMP and nuke. Wait for our connections before engaging on your Echo run.
There's a lot of drones going in there. Okay, let's see if they've managed to rendezvous with the Grant yet. So there's a lone howler going into the Grant. I'm going to switch over to comms menu now.
Yeah, I'm checking the comms menu.
So
They are setting system interfaces, looking good.
yep. Well, that's the automatic message from the Grant. What they need to do now is
They
go
have
into-
the interface. They are
Yeah.
doing it.
So those are automatic messages from the Grant. What they have to do now, and I might click through for them, is they have to go into channel 3 and resupply operations, and then resupply from the Grant. And now that the request has gone through, if I can open that one up, there we go. They've given the orders of how to resupply, and they'll be starting the resupply now. So it's knowing that process through the comms menus that I mean, in the TSN IP community, we can train people and go, oh yeah, this is how you do it. And it's why I try and put out a few more sandbox videos. This could be a clip from that, actually. I could clip this out and put it in how to use the TSN sandbox. We're going to go back to looking at some of the combat now. Or have they finished the combat? Oh, they've pretty much mopped them up, haven't they? Artemis just going in for the last couple of strikes.
Howler, let me know when your status is nominal.
And this is another reason why, like, you've got to have a comms officer for these. You can't
Artemis,
just leave it
do you
to.
require a restock and resupply?
You can't just leave it
This is
to
Artemis.
like
Acknowledge we need a resupply.
a third person.
Okay, go ahead and proceed back onto the Grant. We'll be following you.
Like somebody taking up the role and not covering it fully makes it a little bit more of a challenge.
This is CIC to Intrepid. The enemies are trying to run away and rejoin their fleet in the Atlantis sector. Destroy these ships with utmost prejudice. This is still a wartime, and we do not allow enemy to resupply this way.
Copy that, copy that. We'll turn around and engage. Artemis, you can proceed down to restock. We're going to go ahead and take these guys out.
Also, Intrepid, we detect a sensor buoy in the sector Alpha 2. We believe this is the last of the forces of stationary forces in the sector. Please destroy that, and your reconnaissance mission can end.
Copy that. Lone Howler, would you be able to proceed to sector Alpha 2 and investigate A27?
Now the pressure. Do I put a surprise there or do I not?
Well, if you look at the time for the mission,
Yeah, I know. Just a little one. I don't
so
know.
just maybe a Scaran or something. Just something to ambush them. Or a single Targoth. I suppose you could put like a Targoth command ship that might be taken out fairly rapidly. Oh, we don't have Targoth command ships in this version, do we?
No,
Oh.
in the single one we don't. Targoth heavy though.
Yeah, Targoth heavy, yeah. Might be quick enough to take out. They are moving quite slow though, aren't they?
That's because we don't have energy resupply.
They're
limiting to one.
They've got a fuel collection system though.
Yeah, but that takes 2 minutes.
That's true. Got to have it active, got to have it running.
I could have gave Lone Hauler some energy from ground while they were docked, but I forgot about it. I have a different plan.
Oh boy.
How often do you get to see a Scarian running away?
Lone Howler, can you go ahead and engage B93? Do not let it escape. We have orders to take no surrenders.
So there's the channel 1 signals coming through. Again, I might go through and activate just for ease for them. So they want resupply operations, resupply from ground. There we go. Channel 2 is setting up at the minute.
Oh boy, they forgot to destroy the buoy.
Okay, channel 2, we're waiting resupply. Resupply from Grant, there we go. There's the transport ship Grant. Well, I think we're going to bring this live broadcast to an end here so that we can move on to the next one. They're building the TSN sandbox. I think the mission's pretty much come to an end, hasn't it now?
It did.
Copy that. Proceed back to Alpha 27.
So I'm going to just turn up the music. I'll keep it running in the background just while we get set up so you can still see what's going on. But we'll be taking the audio down.